Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from WESST. That's with two S's, by the way. Two S's. So when you go to look it up, add the second S
add the
there.
second WESST.
But Ronda Smith and Sylvia Garcia here with us this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you today? In unison, too. I like it.
Yeah. we tried. You tried.
Well, I think people that live here and been here a while may have heard of WESST. They may have seen, because it's been here a while doing a lot of great stuff here, but they may not be familiar with what WESST is all about. And I guess what I've been telling people kind of in a nutshell is it's basically an organization that really focuses on helping women be successful entrepreneurs and business owners. Yeah, that's the end game. And they've got many different avenues and things that help make that happen. But if you're a woman that wants to be a business owner, then you should probably put WESST on your speed dial here, or on your. I know I'm showing my age here, or on your browser, or on your smartphone, and keep that stuff handy, because it's hard enough to start a business.
Tell me about it. It sure is, Mike.
You want all the support and help you can get, and take advantage of many free things or low cost. You know what I mean? If there's a way to do something as effectively and not spend money doing it, or finding an alternate way to do it, then that's sometimes the difference between success and failure for a small business owner.
You're absolutely right.
But I mean, is that pretty much in a nutshell, or am I
in a nutshell?
Am I cutting you short a little bit?
Mike, you've done it so well that I think that we could end this radio.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
You've done a wonderful job. Thank you so much. It makes our job so easier. But first of all, we want to thank you for allowing us to come on the radio today.
Anytime.
WESST is a nugget hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Many times, many of the opportunities here in Roswell, people take for granted that people know about who they are, what they do, and how they can serve Roswellians.
Sure.
So we're so glad this morning that you've had me and Sylvia Garcia to tell a little bit about WESST, the Roswell Women's Business Center, and how we can help women. And we don't not take men, but it's called the Women's
Basically, if you go in there asking for some advice,
you'll get it.
And
we'll sign up a man. So it's not particularly that.
But you do focus on women and female ownership,
Absolutely.
business ownership.
Yeah. And first of all, thank you. I've got the best job in the world, Mike. Imagine coming to work and you know that there are women out there and men that have dreams that are unfulfilled. Mm-hmm. Most people want to have their own business. We hear it all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't want a boss. I want to make my own money. Sure. I want my own hours.
Set your own rules.
I've got set my own rules. I want to have my own ideas. Mm-hmm. The issue is it's hard to get from point A to point B.
Sure.
Secondly, when people begin, especially women, says, "Oh, I've got an idea. I bake the best cookies, or I can do this." Mm-hmm. You have Debbie Downers.
Yeah.
That say, "Oh, you can't start your business," or "Come on now."
There's always somebody give you 12 reasons why you shouldn't do it. Yeah.
No, you can't do it. So what we do is that we provide a platform, Mike, a foundation here at WESST, the Roswell Women's Business Center, for we take a young lady's middle-aged woman. There are senior citizens that have worked 35 years that say, "I've always wanted my own business."
Yeah.
So we come to work ready to help people, women and men, all ages, races, ethnicities, to say, "I got an idea."
Yeah.
And then we say, "Okay, these are the services
and
products that we provide. How do we make it happen?" So I've got the best job.
And like you mentioned earlier, talking about people wanting to start business, and then you have your naysayers and things too. But that's part of, and this is especially for small business owners. Generally, the business owner, they start a business because they have the passion for the product.
Yes.
Whether it's making food or whatever widget you're making or whatever it is, that's where their passions are. And they may not understand the business side of all that, where it's like, look, I should start my own business to sell my sandwiches. But if you have no idea how to go from from you making a sandwich to having a restaurant, that's where you guys can come in and say, and to be honest, this is probably where most small businesses succeed or fail, is understanding that you got to have more than just a passion for whatever it is you're making to have a successful business. That's only one sliver. You have a great product, that's a big part of the pie, don't get me wrong. But if you don't know how to market it, how to get it to people, how to let people know you have it, how to deal with the ancillary taxes and payroll and logistics that's not sexy or fun, but very vital, that's where WESST comes in and says, you know what? You know how to make this amazing product. Let's help you market it. Let's help you get it to a place so you can succeed as a business rather than having a great product and a messed up business plan here. Let's make your business plan as amazing as your sandwiches or whatever your product is.
You're right on point.
Yeah.
I want to introduce the audience to our program coordinator, Sylvia Garcia. She is a fundamental part of our office, and she has done wonderful things thus far. So, without further ado, Sylvia, tell them about
Spotlight.
yourself.
I know. Well, I've been here only 2 months, so it's, it's just a learning process as well.
Okay.
But the reason I also wanted to work here was because that's who I am. So, I think, when it says our mission, our value, our core values,
that's what you believe in.
That's exactly what I believe in.
Sure.
And, unfortunately, I had not heard of WESST prior to seeing the announcement, and there's several friends that had opened business, and we kind of just, I had helped them and assisted them. We looked it up. We had to learn on it ourselves.
Gotcha.
Had we known even just a year ago.
So you were doing WESST before you realized there was WESST.
Exactly. I was doing WESST before I knew there was a WESST, and before I became a part
You're
of
like,
that.
there should be an organization that does this stuff, and then you found WESST and hey, here it is.
Exactly. And so it's real, and it was even just doing the LLCs. I mean, even just from basic 1, 2, and 3.
Sure.
It's not really even just the financing. It was just doing the, how to get someone to approve the truck.
Yeah.
If it was a food truck, because, my friend opened a food truck and bought it brand new. But, we didn't know what specifics New Mexico was going to have. So it's very basic, to the very.
They know how to cook the food, but how do we do it legally and healthy? As far as within the parameters of what a city or municipality is going to make you do, Yeah.
And exactly. And even if because it's brand new doesn't mean it's going to pass.
Exactly.
So you have to be very specific about, finding out, and, you can go into online and look up some of that, but it's easier. We can help you and we can assist.
Well, and that's just it. That's where you can go and try to weed through the internet and find all this stuff yourself, which you'll be successful. It's just going to take you a lot of headache and a lot of hard time. Or walk through the doors of WESST and say, you know what, I'm doing this. Where am I at? What do I need to do next? And you ladies can sit down and say, all right, got a good start here. Here's what we need to do next, or here's where I would take this.
Most definitely.
And that's the part of the conversation too. Is you guys are probably listening to their visions and dreams, and so. I mean, a lot of the answers will apply to most people, but the information and advice you may give one lady that's opening, say, a restaurant may not be the same information you give to another lady that's, say, opening a boutique or something like that, or something like a plant or something like that. I mean, it's different advice, different needs, and that's where you guys can customize and get into specific people's businesses and so what you may tell one may not be what you tell someone because it just that model doesn't work for that product.
Exactly right. One thing we love to say to all the new entrepreneurs that come in, we don't have at WESST a HIPAA law where you cannot reveal a person's medical records, but what we do have is we make sure that all the businesses that come to us, some are inventions, some are their favorite recipes. I've got the favorite sauce recipe.
Sure.
That whatever idea, and we make it very clear, whatever idea that they may have, it stays within the office.
Yeah.
So if there's another taco store that has this wonderful
competition
idea,
in essence.
We're not going to say, they're doing something down here.
Let's
you're
implement
doing that.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
It stays within that
it's
office.
All ethical business
business practices.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So what that does, it allows that new entrepreneur to really reveal what they want to do in the business. Because we're not competing with them. We're not going to take the idea and run with it.
Sure.
Our job is to make sure that idea gets into the public view.
How the logistics happen for your idea.
Most definitely. You know,
Yeah.
the most difficult part, you mentioned about passion. People have passion. It's a great idea. The ideal is the business. They don't have the business sense. And then some people hold on to the passion without tweaking it to meet the market.
Sure.
So, no, this is my grandmother's sandwich, and she made it 50 years ago, and I'm going to make it now. Well, maybe the market has changed.
Yeah.
And you have to fit the palette of the current market.
Absolutely.
So what's happening is that's helping people to understand, do your market research. You got a wonderful product. You have a wonderful service. Make sure that your product and service meets the market where we are today.
Sure. And I imagine just your organization itself, you know, with the last 3 years of COVID coming here, you know, obviously that's been a business killer for some businesses, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of phoenixes kind of rising from the ashes of that, where you've had a bunch of families, you know, moms staying at home doing things, and they figure out a product. They figure out, you know, they had the light bulb moment while they're home in quarantine and all this, and they're thinking, I just, you know, whatever, it's a food thing or whatever it is. I imagine there probably is a lot of small businesses that are spawning or will be spawning out of the pandemic just because people found other ways to do things. And they're saying, you know what, this might be a good thing for other people. And so I imagine, like, I've heard a couple, like, watching TV when I'm off, and they'll have like a woman on a TV show that's doing a cooking segment.
Yes.
And now they're famous. They were moms during pandemic, and they were doing they wrote a cookbook, or they wrote something, and so now they've got a business through that cookbook. And it all started because they had time on their hands sitting stuck home at COVID. And so I imagine we're getting a lot of that coming. So where a lot of businesses were hurt or destroyed because of the pandemic, I feel like now we're going to see like a rebirth of some new businesses, some new opportunities here. And so there might be a lot of women that are sitting here listening saying, I have an idea. I have something here, and I've been percolating on this for since COVID here. Maybe now's the time to make it into something tangible.
Most definitely
so. And so maybe there's a few entrepreneurs in the wings just waiting to kind of make their move. And
we hope so.
Hopefully they listen to this and stumble upon it and say, you know, maybe this is the time to make that move. And trust me, once the ball rolls in your court, you get all that going, and you maintain it and foster it, you're going to have quite enjoyable experience.
Yeah, we are very busy. Yeah. One thing we do value, we value our community. We know the demographics here, and we serve each and every one. So I want Sylvia Garcia to talk about her latest event that she had, Go Latinas.
Okay.
And also she is our bilingual consultant.
All right.
So
that's probably very helpful in the Go Latinas side.
It was. So talk about the event and also the people that you serve in this community, the Spanish speakers.
Yes,
Thank you.
And like I said, I just started, so you know, I've just had a few contacts with the Spanish speakers, but but they're speaking to others, and they're like, okay, we knew that, you know, we know now that you can help us. So we've gotten word of mouth.
Word has spread about your antics.
Yes, and they're really, what I really wanted to say too before I go into Latinas, that not only do we provide this service here, but we're statewide.
Gotcha.
So a lot of the, you know what, not only just do we show you or help you or assist you in opening that business, but how to maintain it. So what part of WESST does is the training, and they call it training. I don't know how else to put it, but what they do is an educational, you know, how do you start your business? So, you know, what's going to be fitting to your business? Is it, you know, the LLC or sole proprietorship?
Sure.
So that's, you know, that's what the classifications is also what's going to help you and what's going to benefit and what protects you personally.
Yeah.
So
and the different rules that you have to abide by to
the members.
Like just a gee whiz, for instance, we have one of our local lawyers. He comes on once a month and we talk legal advice and things, just, you know, general legal stuff. And for you LLC business owners out there, there's a lot of great protections that are part of that LLC. But part of those protections are things you have to do. Just for instance, whenever you advertise your business, whether it's a commercial on the radio or the paper or on a bus bench, if you don't put LLC in your business name, that could disqualify you from the LLC protections and things. And a lawyer can, if you're not aware of that and stuff, that could bite you in the tail if you do have to file for bankruptcy or something later
Your
on
protection.
down the
Most
road.
definitely. Yes.
So you've got to know that information, and that's where these ladies and Wes can really. All right, you want to go to an LLC? That's amazing. We can do that, but there are some strings, some obligations you're going to have to meet to qualify for that LLC or to afford those protections that LLC gives you. And so that's where you guys can help them navigate through all that kind of stuff.
And not only that, not only on the licenses and stuff, that, but also the learning labs. So we have that out of Albuquerque, and they're kind of expanding, towards our area in Hobbs. And financially, that's just really a plus. I mean, you can't get that, and right now that's at no cost. So if you enroll with us at this time right now, because of COVID money, at this time it's going to change.
There's programs kind of covering your ability
at this time.
Sure. So take advantage of it.
To take advantage of it, and also once you enroll, you get your email. You're going to get an email stating it's called an e-blast. So it kind of just tells you what the class is going to be available. Okay. So if you want to know how to do, even social media, or how to advertise online, or how to get a web page.
Sure.
So there's so much information, versus just to walk in and say, I need a loan, because we do that as well. It's a small business loan, and it's anywhere from $500 to $50,000, generally. But so it's really because I wanted just to let people know that it's not only what we know, or the little I know at this point. It's a learning process.
Sure.
But you get the experience of all of WESST nationwide. So you sign
all
up
of
for
the
those
resources that are part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not just it's not limited. You have all those resources too.
And I would imagine even the smallest of mom and pop businesses, to have that statewide connection is important.
Yes.
There's always we live in a small world. Everything's connected and things. And even though your small business covers Roswell, there's probably, and who knows, the idea is to grow and be better. Maybe your mom and pop one-off here in Roswell, you need to open a shop up in Farmington or Albuquerque or Santa Fe or Las Cruces.
Yes.
And now you've got connections through that too.
Most definitely.
And the areas.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to say, and it doesn't, you don't have to attend every class, it's going to give you, and then we try to do them at lunch, between like 12 and 1:30, so that you're able to
work around your schedule.
Hour. We try. And then those who cannot, then we try to do them at 5:30, 6.
Some after hours.
And then it's on Zoom. You just, we are going to try, Miss Gilliam-Smith wants to try some in person, but I think having that availability from statewide and the convenience is also going to help.
Sure.
So I think that's pretty good. And as far as our Latina, we do that annual. It's an annual event, and we were able to do it at the Clarion Inn this year.
Okay.
And we had the Así Bailamos, the Florico. They performed.
So the ballet Florico. Yes.
They did.
They're very talented.
They are.
They were. I don't understand it, but it's very talented. It's very cool. I mean, I don't know all the history behind it, but every time you see him, it's an amazing performance. Yeah.
And we also had the secretary from Mountain View, Ms. Delara. She also donated her time and actually participated and sang some songs for us.
Cool.
So we really appreciate her. We did. We had our vendors there, and it really just to celebrate that Latinas do own. They are the number one small business owners, and and it's growing every year. So we do a celebration of that. So it was a great experience. We had 3 local speakers, and we had one, a young lady from Portales that her family owns a franchise now. They started small in Artesia, Los Agaves.
Oh yeah,
and now,
that's a great restaurant. Yeah.
Right. So now the daughter is, she's
they're getting ready to open one in Ruidoso.
They have already.
I remember I was there a couple weeks ago, and it didn't look like it was quite ready yet, but it looked like it was close.
Yeah,
they were. So it's open now. Sweet, good deal.
Yes, I saw it online. So
good.
They were celebrating somebody's birthday on there, so I think that they did.
Yeah,
I saw it on the.
This was about a month ago. It was like I think they were quite ready to open. They were about to. But I was like, oh look, they put a Los Agaves in Ruidoso,
and then they have one in Portales, and she's the daughters are just so talented, and she runs the one there, and she's going to school full time. She's studying criminal justice, and she wants to be an attorney. And then we had Pilar here, Aldavas, from the main place, and she's a bookkeeper. And and so they kind of wanted to talk about what they experienced, as opening a business. And then we also had Olga Gallegos from the, Burritos and More.
Yeah,
we had that, and then we had Rosie, who Rubio, who she has her own business.
Yeah,
now. She started her own. And they all provided some insight about, starting a business, and that was the whole purpose. As as a woman,
sharing their
as
experience,
right, and as
Yeah.
a minority woman, and of all ages. So it was a really great experience.
Well, and I don't care who you are or where you are, when you see people like you doing the things that you
Exactly.
dream of, it makes that goal visually, mentally more obtainable. It's just, and it's not a racial thing, sexual thing, sexist
Yes.
thing. It's like, look, I see a woman who is a lot like me, you know, a
Yes.
lot of the similarities.
and the age group,
Yeah,
the difference.
if they're able to do it, certainly I can. You
Most-
know,
most
and that's
definitely so.
what it's about is really trying to present, you know, someone like you to
Mostly.
so to you know that. Let's face it, because I'm sure you have people there thinking, "Why I can't do this. Is too." You know what I mean? They have a dream, but our own insecurities, our own whatevers get in the way, and we tend to kind of take the path of least resistance or the safer
Most
route.
definitely.
And so when you see someone that did not take that path and they look and walk and talk and act just like you, then that relates a little bit better to you. It just does. It's human nature. It's just what it is. So,
Most definitely.
And
Yeah.
I really like that it's the different ages that we were able to represent that just because you're young doesn't mean you cannot do that job, and maybe
Sure.
somebody doesn't take you as serious because you're a young female here going to school, but you can do it. Or if you're going to retire from a position and you're 60 and you're starting over, that's also so someone who say, okay, I retired for another position, but now I'm ready to do my own.
Absolutely.
And at different ages, and
every walk of life can do it.
I think
There's
that was
no
such
set
a-
way. Yeah.
and they were able to tell, kind of show the persons or, and tell their life event
Yeah.
that they were opening a business at this time in their life. And
Good.
There's
well,
not a set.
hopefully you inspired a few more young Latino women that when we're sitting on our porches yelling at kids to get off our lawn, they're the business community leaders in our
Most
neighborhoods.
and you're not
so-
going to know who.
Yeah.
We had Olga, and she told her experience there, so I think I can repeat it here because, we all heard it there. She came from Juarez, and she didn't speak any English. She came with her daughter. She was on maternity leave. She worked at a bank in Juarez.
Wow.
And she didn't speak the English, the language. So when she finally decided to come here, and she worked at different.
She was really
organizations.
behind the eight ball because she had to basically indoctrinate into the culture by learning the language, which everyone knows that that's really hard to do. And then, oh, by the way, then become successful and thrive within that community you're just learning the language for.
Right.
That's-
And she actually became a supervisor. And there was a supermarket here. Do you remember Furs?
oh, I do.
Yeah. Okay. She became a supervisor, not even speaking English at that time. She
Wow.
still became the supervisor. And then, when they went out of business and she had to start all over again. And when she started all over again, she already had been a supervisor. She already had learned this.
She had that experience under her
Even
belt.
if she didn't
yeah.
have the language quite yet, she still had all that. And then, here, fast forward, she's starting on her second one now.
Mm-hmm.
But what, her daughters were able to take advantage of her dream, and they are highly educated now.
Good.
One of them just graduated from Harvard, actually. She
Oh,
went
wow.
to school in Albuquerque and then went ahead and
What's her
transferred.
plans? Just curious.
I don't know.
With Harvard,
The
like
daughter?
law or a lawyer? Or?
I'm assuming that's
I mean,
what
you
she
think
was.
Harvard law, but
Harvard, you
you
do.
can do whatever you want when you come out of Harvard.
Right. But who does that? Like in the fact that you can say, for the newly immigrated or the ones that are here, my daughter can do that.
Sure.
You can come and not speak
How many
the
people
language.
do you know that spoke English as their first language and are born there, but aren't capable of going to, let alone completing Harvard Law School?
I know.
That's,
Well,
that's amazing. It's
yeah,
it's such a
that
great
doesn't happen.
feather in her cap. Absolutely.
Right. So I
Yeah.
kind of wanted just to, to speak about them because they were such an example.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest, my brother, my parents divorced. My dad remarried, and my stepmother doesn't speak English either. She came from Mexico. So my brothers and sisters are twins, and they did not speak the language and had to have been held back in first grade because of the language barrier. My brother's a professor in El Paso.
Okay.
So and so when we tell all these stories and when we represent this, I may not have that barrier, but I have another barrier.
Sure.
But they can surpass that. You're an example at different ages. So I think that so representative of who we are.
Absolutely. And to me, that's the inspiration because when you live in a world where people are telling you can't do things or you shouldn't do things, and then you see someone do those things, and that's an inspiration. It's and to me, that's the beauty of this country. It's if you're willing to, and I still believe this in my heart. I don't care where you come from, who you are. If you're willing to work in this country, you will find success. You will, I believe, and I don't care who you are, where you come from. We got problems. We got things to work on. We'll always be doing that. And probably long after we're gone, they'll be working these problems. But I still believe that in this country, if you're willing to roll up your sleeves and contribute, next thing you know, you're going to find success. You're going to find your path opening up for you. You're going to find doors that did not open for you earlier open for you. And it's all about mindset and your willingness to roll up your sleeves and get to work. If you're willing to, you can be a very successful person in this country.
You know, Mike, there's an old adage that says, do what you love and you never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
I think some young people have taken that to way out on left field.
Sure.
Sometimes you got to do what you don't like.
This is true.
To get to where you do like.
Because it's going to make what you got better at
Most
the end.
Definitely.
You know, you
Hard
got
work.
What you ever hear that what doesn't kill you make you stronger? Maybe not go that extreme, but what I mean is adversity is a learning tool.
Yes.
And when you make mistakes, you either dwell on them and let them swallow you up and destroy you, or you learn from it, you don't make the mistake again, and you come out better and stronger on the other side. And that's what we hope is for all humans to be able to do that. And that's the difference between success and failure. It's what you do with. We're all going to screw up. We're all going to botch something. We're all going to. That was a boneheaded idea.
Yes.
It's what you do with it afterwards.
What did they say? Edison, how many times did he try to make the light bulb? I don't know, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And he kept on. He finally made the filament of the light bulb. So it's not, though, about those that fail.
Yeah.
It's about trying and trying it again.
Well, I'm guessing 409 cleaners called 409 because there was 408 failures before the 409 got there.
You're right. We finally made Formula 409.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's. I mean,
I hadn't thought about that.
But what's the difference between, of all of us fail, Mike?
Sure.
So what's the difference between those that fail and say, oh, I can't do it, and those that says nothing's going to stop me? What is that difference?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you got to figure out for yourself.
Yeah.
But that's where WESST can help. If you've got the desire, that's really where, I mean, if you've got the desire and the willingness to put in the time,
The hard work.
to dedicate yourself to it, then WESST is going to be the hand on the other side that pulls you through and says, you know what, okay, you don't know the first thing about getting a business loan. Let's start there.
Business plan. First thing is the business plan.
Yeah.
People will have to realize, oh, I got to do a business plan. The business plan is already in your head. What we do need to see is take it
formalize it.
out of your head and it has to be on paper. And I think that's the first step that we would have an entrepreneur.
Well, and it's probably using the same logic that a lot of folks do, in techniques like, you hear things like vision boards and things like that. These are more newer tools to kind of get people to focus on something or do, decide what their goals are or whatever it is. That's what a business plan is. It's getting that vision out of your head and putting it on something tangible that you can see and others can see and say, is this right? Do I need to tweak it? Do I need to? Because in your head, it's like, oh, we'll get a van and magical this and all that. And then you try to put that paper, like, all right, where do I start again? And you got to take the jumbled ideas and put it into something concise. And that's where that business plan is. And that's where you guys can help with all of that and taking the jumble into something tangible.
Yeah. And also, I'm just working with the statewide. Like you said, we're in all of the major cities here. I want to put a shout out for our Albuquerque Entrepreneur Office. That's in Albuquerque. Comcast created in that large building, and I think you would appreciate it, a real live studio. All the bells and whistles for radio.
So they're helping with making marketing materials and things?
So if you want that commercial, it has like a pavilion there with seats.
And I know just because of the job I work for, that can be quite pricey for a business. I know, especially in the television side, sometimes it's not so much buying the ad to put on a TV, it's making the ad and the cost involved in doing that.
The editing and all the green screen.
If you need actors or whatever,
So we have that in the building in Albuquerque. If you are a client of WESST.
Well, so another reason to take advantage of that and say, hey, utilize our marketing tools and then combine with what you're doing and what WESST is doing. That's probably a pretty good umbrella of getting enough coverage of people knowing about your business. And so
the GoDaddy, for that.
Yeah.
The GoDaddy training. So
it's free.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is kind of, when we think about businesses and, the GoDaddy story is the quintessential West story. It really is.
It is.
When you think about it, when you think about the success of that company and all that, and that's kind of what WESST is all about, and what is making more companies just like that.
You talked about COVID and post-COVID. You're definitely right.
Mm-hmm.
COVID has done something to the world mind, especially to the American mind. We have people that are quietly quitting, who are quitting their jobs still 9 to 5.
Sure.
We have people who are physically quitting, the great exodus. We have people that are having side hustles. So the dynamic of the workforce has changed.
Absolutely.
And so owners and supervisors must change with the workforce.
Sure.
Organizations like us are taking in people who have these great ideas, but
Sure.
they have to match the workforce that's going to work for their business.
And I would imagine, too, it even alters some of how you guys do things in terms of the business model.
Yes.
Whereas how we did things tried and true 3 years ago prior to COVID is now dinosaur thinking, because COVID introduced us new ways to get to business, and some of them are better than the old ways. And so if you're not a business embracing and looking into that future, you could be creating your own failure and not even realizing it. And but for you guys, I imagine what you tell a business 4 years ago is probably not the same thing on what you tell a business today. And that's again one of those advantages of having WESST, someone that's plugged in to these trends.
Consistently reading
and studying
what's happening in the business. Supply chains. Oh boy, people would love to do some businesses now. They have to realize I'm paying more for my food, for my restaurant.
Everything costs more.
Supply chain. How can I afford my business? Do I bring those costs to my customers? So these are these are the best of times, and these are the worst of times.
Sure.
And it's going to take someone that has some ingenuity, networking, the ability to get out of the box, sometimes bat in left field, to try to get your business going.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of the human spirit.
Yes.
I just saw the time we need to wrap up, but that's the beauty of the human spirit, because I don't care where they're from, who they are, what they're. You tell a human being they can't do something, and 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Oh yeah, watch me," and we're going to figure out a way to do it. It may take them some time, but this is why we went to the moon. This is why you have internet and phones, and it's all humanity pushing envelopes for this kind of thing, and so we need to instill that same spirit in businesses and everything. So the next generation is enjoying the technologies, and they too are pushing forward. And who knows, when the world we're talking about, and we're seeing Artemis and space and talking about moon and Mars again and all that, who's to say your grandkids are going to be setting up a business on the moon? Who knows? I mean, we're in a world where that's legitimately a possibility. It's just, you never know. So are you going to, just stick with tried and true? Or are you going to see, and the answer is maybe. It just depends on your situation. Maybe you do tried and true. Maybe you do new. Maybe it's a combination thereof. But that's where WESST comes in. WESST can say, all right, let's read the tea leaves. Let's see what you're doing and what you're trying to do and what your vision is, and let's help you achieve that vision and present it in a way that'll not only provide you success right now, but success for the next generation that takes over this business when you're ready to retire and run off to the sunset here. So, that's kind of the idea.
Thank you.
So let's do the logistical stuff. If folks are interested in going to getting WESST to take a look, I know you can go to the website west.org. Don't forget 2 S's. Right. WESST.org. I know you guys also have a WESST Facebook page.
Yes.
That folks can, and again, don't forget 2 S's. 1 S, you're going to get a whole lot of WESTs and not the one you want.
Yes, right.
And but through phone, what's other ways folks can get a hold of you too?
Well, the local office is 575-624-9850.
Okay.
That's our local office. So I'd like to shout out to Janie Cortez, who is our office secretary.
Keeping you all
She's
from
keeping
getting in
us
trouble.
together.
Cracks the whip.
She cracks the whip. So Janie does
We
a
all
wonderful
need somebody
job.
to do that.
You may get Janie on the phone. We want to thank Janie Cortez for all the work that she does.
Good deal.
In our office.
Excellent. And of course, whatever questions you have, she can. If she can't answer direct, she'll put you in touch with the people that need to help you.
Most definitely.
So very good. Just curiosity, is it an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday business
Correct.
hours? Your
We're
typical
8:30 to 5.
Very good. And of course, 500 North Main Street is where the Roswell
The
Women's
Sun
Business
West
Center.
Building, 7th floor.
Yeah, just 2 doors down from where we're at right now. We're in the gray and brown building, the white and red building.
Right.
Depending on how long you've been here, it used to be the Bank of America building,
yes.
but
Bank of
the Sun
America.
West building.
Sun
is what
West
it's
Building,
called.
yeah.
So it's so you can go up there. What floor are you guys on?
7th.
7th floor.
As soon as you
Seventh
open
floor.
the elevators, we're right there in the front.
Good
You can't
deal.
miss us.
We call
So-
it 7th Heaven.
Good. Well, good.
Yes.
I'm assuming your office has a window.
Oh, beautiful. We see
So you
the
probably
city.
got one of the best views in town. That's
One of the
One of the
best.
tallest buildings in town. So
It
you
is
get to-
very, it's very beautiful.
Beautiful. Good. Yes.
I'd like to shout out for all of those women that have faith. Over 50% of our women that come in there, our clients or more, they're saying that I believe, or God has told me, or there's a faith. I've got faith to believe that I can do this.
Yeah.
So even though if you're a person of faith and you have an idea and you believe that God is giving you a dream or a vision, let's work together on that.
See if
Because
you can
He has
help,
provided networking.
Clear up that vision a little
Yes,
bit for you.
clear
And
up the
take some of the
vision.
fuzzy corners out.
Yes.
And make it cleaned up there
So
for
take
you.
your
But-
faith and make it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's well, whatever how you guide your life, whether it's through God or
Yes.
whatever your moral compass is. Let's
Whatever that is.
let's
Your higher power.
enhance that. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's and because we got to go, but
Go ahead.
but whenever you have a business, if you don't put your spin or your faith on it, it definitely seems like it lacks heart. So you got to put your values, your stamp on that business, and that's through your faith or through whatever
Determination.
whatever it is that's your
No, most
motivating
definitely.
spirit. Let's you got to put that in there for it to be successful,
Yes.
or you just won't. It's just one of those human things. If you don't put your full heart and soul into it, you might succeed, but you probably won't. You probably won't because you don't care. And that's, if you don't care, then you're not going to but if you care, the human spirit will go through, we'll move hell and earth,
Move mountains.
fire, mountains, and everything else. So very good. Well, thank you, ladies.
Had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Anytime,
Thank you.
we'd love to get you back in later on as we events come up here, or maybe we can just bring a business or two that's
Okay,
kind of
cool,
a success story or something like
Yes,
that. Be
we
fun.
have quite a few in this town.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Yeah, let's say you could probably throw a rock and hit a successful story here.
Roswell rocks. I tell you.
Absolutely. No pun intended. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
It is 9:56. Let's do a quick